Hey, I'm Mark Loftus, editor of Post, and in this episode of Post TV, I'm joined by BirdDog's Dan Miall. Dan, thanks for joining us.
Mark, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great to see you. So, for those of our audience members who aren't familiar with BirdDog, maybe you could give us a little bit of a background. I know you guys have remote production solutions. I think we'd like to hear more about.
Sure thing. So Bird Dog, I like to think that a lot of people know about us, but obviously it's a big, wide industry out there. And I think we're really mainly known for our live production solutions, and probably more specifically our cameras. We make remote control PTZ or pan, tilt, and zoom cameras. But that's only really the front door of the company. What we've been doing is building out a network-based live production and real-time video system. So our cameras are really a very important part of that. But actually, what happens behind them is something that I think is really exciting, and that's how we can make video work a whole lot better over any type of network. And that's remote control either inside a building or anywhere in the world. And I think really in the post-production sense, Mark, what we probably focus a little bit more on today is what that can do in a post-production environment where you might have a producer or a director somewhere else in the world. And what we can do with our Bird Dog solutions is effectively teleport that edit suite to be anywhere else where a producer might be, and they can choose their own adventure. They can see whatever video they want to look at, whether that's the timeline or the final output. But essentially, the company itself makes video products that are extremely high quality. They're built for live production and broadcast. It's all about being network based and as low latency or as fast as possible.
And you talk about just like the cameras, the capture at the very early end of production. You guys use Sony sensors, so you've got a certain level of quality there, and you offer more than just pan, tilt, and zoom functionality. You have control over exposure, and then just the networking is a simpler networking because you're using Ethernet connectivity as opposed to all sorts of different cables.
That's it, yeah. So we use underneath a lot of our products, we use a technology called NDI, and that's something that's becoming quite a lot more popular over the last few years. But essentially, what we did is you can buy cameras from many different manufacturers. What we wanted to do is make sure the cameras we build are of the highest quality. So you mentioned the Sony sensors. That's really important to us, but also really easy to use. We recognize that a lot of people aren't broadcast engineers, but they want broadcast quality pictures. And so what we've done is build a whole lot of controls and things around the cameras that are easy to use, that actually in a post-production environment look quite familiar. Like there's a lot of really great controls over the color. There's a lot of control over how you frame up your images, but that's all done over the network and completely remote controlled. But the whole point here is that they're easy to use, they're easy to deploy, and easy to get to understand in the very first place.
And that gets us to, I guess, not only the control, but the post-production side of it. You guys have software and controllers that can, enable that.
Yeah, for sure. So post-production can, in our sense, can be used in a number of different ways. Obviously, our cameras, so the first thing you'd think of is that you can use our cameras in a live production, record that, and post-produce a video afterwards. And there's many people that do that for a whole bunch of different live productions, from concerts to TV studio work, corporate events, and things like that. So there's plenty of use cases for that. But our post-production system actually goes deeper than that. What we can actually do is use that same network and effectively make the edit suite part of that environment. So when you're editing, you might have an editor that's using Premiere or Media Composer from Avid. Right now, you can do some sort of remote things. There's review and approvals where you can post up a cut and have someone have a look at it afterwards and comment. But we can use our real-time network to get that edit suite effectively moved or teleported so anyone can look at it wherever they like. And that means that you can not only watch the editor work within the timeline and collaborate with them, but you can also see how that final output is coming along. So if you've got a really tight deadline, or if you've got something that really needs to be tightened up, where you want to collaborate directly with an editor, normally you'd have to get the train, get a plane, whatever it is to get to that edit suite to go and talk and work in a collaborative session. But with our BirdDog cloud system, you can do that anywhere, and you can literally choose your own adventure with that, where you can look at the timeline while something's being sorted out. You can look at the final output, and then you can even cut to a camera that's in the edit suite and effectively do like a Zoom call with them as well. The cool thing with this, much like everything else that we do, it's all about making it as easy as possible. So this is built directly into these edit suites. We've got a panel that goes directly into Premiere and a panel that goes directly into Media Composer. So as an editor, another pain point is you don't want to learn another application or jump out of an application to do something else. we're built directly into that. So it's as little kind of impost as possible on all of the creative team to get this done.
Right. Most of the applications, I've checked out your website. There's quite a broad spectrum of applications there, from venues, stage productions and stuff. What do you see as some of the users? Can you just shout out a couple of cases, maybe?
Yeah, there's plenty. I mean, yeah, this is something that I found really fascinating. Starting up this company, it's about just on 7 years old now. Is when we first looked at this, people were looking at it from a live production, sort of a tier two, or I guess you'd probably even call it tier three live productions. That might be community events, it could be corporate events, maybe some local council work and things like that. But actually, where we've seen our solutions go is so broad. We've got I guess a really solid footprint in the in live production and sports, and also in broadcast with the secondary channels. So as broadcasters need to create more content, doing something that's more portable, that's easy to set up, and able to produce more content has really struck a chord with them.
Hmm.
So we've got from sort of the top tier broadcasters, all those three-letter organizations, right through to, we've got college sports. We have local houses of worship. There's AV installations where we've got literally hundreds and hundreds of cameras that are set up in corporate environments. So it's really difficult to say who our
Hmm.
customer is. There's so many different places where this technology just works. And I think it sort of highlights the flexibility of what we do, is that you can use exactly the same camera in such a varied set of circumstances.
Hmm. For those who want to know more about the company and the solutions that you offer, where would you direct them?
I think the simple place is to go to our website, which is birddog.tv.
Excellent. Well, Dan, we want to thank you for stopping by Post TV and sharing some of that with our audience.
Thanks so much for having me.